What happens if a teenage boy is bitten by a genetically engineered spider and turns into Spider-Man? And what happens when he fights a giant lizard that was a side effect of a research experiment? Hello guys, welcome to my channel Movie Breakdown. Today I will explain 2012 released action science fiction movie The Amazing Spider-Man. Spider-Man is a superhero character from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So at the beginning of the movie, we see a little boy playing hide and seek in his house. The boy's name is Peter Parker. While playing, the boy enters his father's room and sees the whole room is messy, the window glass is broken. Like someone had come there searching for something. Then the boy calls his father's name is Richard Parker, who was a famous scientist. Then his father comes and takes out a secret file, which is probably what someone was looking for in their home. After that, they leave Peter with his Uncle Ben and Aunt May and go away, and they are never found again. Then the scene shifts, we see Peter now studies at Midtown Science High School. Peter loved photography, so he always carried a camera with him. Then we see a bully named Flash, he always used to bother Peter. He lifts a boy named Gordon and tells him to eat while asking Peter to take a photo, but Peter refuses, so Flash hits Peter. Then a girl comes. Her name is Gwen Stacy, she comes and sends Flash away from there. Then Gwen and Peter meet in class. Later, Peter goes to help Uncle Ben in the basement and finds his father's old bag. Uncle Ben says that Peter's father told him to keep this bag safe before leaving. Then from the bag, Peter finds a newspaper photo where his father is with someone. Peter asks Uncle Ben, but he says maybe that man used to work with his father. Then Peter goes to his room with the bag. There wasn't much in the bag, but in a hidden pocket Peter finds a file where a formula was written. Then Uncle Ben comes and tells Peter that the man in the photo with his father, his name is Curt Connors. He's a scientist like his father. He and Peter's father worked together for years. Then Uncle Ben sees Gwen's photo on Peter's computer and says she's a pretty girl. Then Peter searches online about his father and Curt Connors and finds out that they were researching a project called cross-species genetics. Then he learns Curt Connors works at Oscorp Industries. Then Peter goes there to meet Dr. Connors. He sneaks into the building using someone else's badge and sees Gwen Stacy works there. Then Peter learns from Dr. Connors that he wants to create a world without weakness, where people can solve their own physical problems, meaning he's working on a research where humans can self-heal. Actually, he had a missing arm, and his dream was to regenerate it through this experiment. Then Gwen tells Peter to be careful since he came with a fake identity. Then Peter bumps into a man and the man drops a file. The man's name is Rajat Ratha. While picking up the file, Peter sees something that looks like the formula his father created. Then Peter follows the man, while following him. He enters a lab room where many spiders are being experimented on. Peter accidentally touches a web and the machine malfunctions, and many spiders fall on Peter. Then we see the man Peter bumped into, Rajat Ratha, comes to Connors and asks about his research. The doctor says it's near completion. Then the man says Norman Osborn is on the verge of death. Norman Osborn is the owner of Oscorp. So the man says they must finish the research quickly to save Osborn or else both will be in trouble. Then Gwen takes the fake badge back from Peter, and we see that in Peter's shoulder, one of the lab spiders bites him. Then Peter was on a train, he had fallen asleep. Then a man puts a beer bottle on his head. Peter wakes up and hangs upside down like a spider. We see the spider bite starts changing him. Without realizing it, he fights some people on the train and returns home. The next morning, We see many changes in Peter's body, like increased strength, improved hearing and vision. Then he tries to understand the formula of his father. Then he goes to Dr. Connor's home and reveals his true identity, that he is Richard Parker's son. He asks about the research. The doctor says it's impossible to complete it without his father's formula. Then Peter writes down the formula and gives it to the doctor. Then the doctor invites Peter to visit the lab sometime. Then we see, since Peter now has supernatural powers, he plays around with Flash in school and accidentally breaks a glass panel in the basketball ground. Then the principal calls Uncle Ben. We learn that Uncle Ben had changed his shift tonight to come to school, so now Peter has to go pick up Aunt May from work. Then Gwen shows up, and Uncle Ben says he saw Gwen's photo on Peter's computer, and this is where Peter and Gwen's romance begins. Then Peter, using his new powers, skates around and swings using chains. Then he goes to Dr. Connor's lab, and the doctor shows him a Ganali device, through which any chemical can be spread across the city via air. Then, using the DNA of a lizard, whose tail grows back when cut, they try to create a serum. The goal is to transfer this regenerative ability into a mouse that has a missing leg. After several attempts using the formula, the experiment succeeds. They inject the serum into the mouse. Then Peter returns home, and forgets he was supposed to pick up Aunt May. This causes an argument between him and Uncle Ben, and Peter leaves the house. Uncle Ben goes out looking for him. Meanwhile, Peter goes into a store where he doesn't have enough money to buy a milkshake, so the shopkeeper refuses. Right then, a man steals money from the cashier and throws a can of milkshake to Peter before running away. Then the shopkeeper chases the thief, and the thief drops his gun. Uncle Ben is nearby. He tries to stop the thief, but the thief shoots Uncle Ben and escapes. Peter hears the gunshot and comes running, sees Uncle Ben is dead, and breaks down crying. Then the police show a sketch of the thief at Peter's home, and Peter keeps the sketch. The police mention the thief has a star tattoo on his left hand. Then Peter thinks it's his fault Uncle Ben died, so he decides to catch and punish the thief. He searches and attacks people who look like the thief, and goes after the entire gang. He uses his powers to escape, and finds that one man didn't have a star tattoo. Eventually, Peter ends up in a boxing ring, and people from above say they've seen Peter's face. That's when Peter sees a mask art on the wall, and he gets the idea to make a mask for himself and starts searching for the thief. This is how he makes a web shooter that lets him throw webs. He catches criminals and leaves them hanging outside the police station. Then he makes a suit for himself. Then he catches a car thief, but police arrive and try to shoot Peter, and he escapes swinging. We see the city's police captain doesn't like Spider-Man because he interferes with police work. Then Rajat Ratha again comes to Dr. Connor's, and the doctor says the experiment is done but needs time to observe side effects. Then it can be tested on humans. But the man says there's no time, it must be done now. The doctor refuses, and then he is fired from Oscorp. Then Gwen invites Peter to dinner at her house. Meanwhile, Dr. Connors injects the serum into himself. Then Peter goes to Gwen's house, where we see her father is the police captain. Meanwhile, Dr. Connor's hand starts regrowing. Then he wants to meet Rajat Ratha, but his body starts reacting. He takes a taxi to meet Rajat Ratha, and then we see his transforming into something monstrous. Then Gwen's father says they'll catch Spider-Man. Peter says people think Spider-Man helps others, he's not a threat. An argument breaks out between Peter and Gwen's father. Then Peter and Gwen go to the rooftop, where Peter tells Gwen he is Spider-Man. Then Peter senses danger with his new power and leaves. We see the taxi Dr. Connors took is in terrible shape. Then we see Rajat Ratha is on the Williamsburg Bridge, and while looking for him, Dr. Connors shows up, now in his monster form. Actually, the DNA of the lizard they experimented on caused this side effect. Then Peter puts on his suit and comes to save people, and he saves a child from falling into water. Meanwhile, the serum's effect ends and Dr. Connors returns to normal. Then we see the police captain issues an arrest warrant for Spider-Man, even though he saved people. Then Peter goes to Dr. Connors' lab and finds the doctor acting strange. Peter sees the experimental rat that had turned into a monster due to side effects, and Peter realizes the monster is Dr. Connors. Then he informs the police captain, but he doesn't believe him. Peter notices some lizards entering tunnels and sees Dr. Connors inside recording video and taking the serum again. Peter installs a camera in the tunnel and waits for Dr. Connors. Then Connors comes in monster form and attacks Peter. Peter escapes somehow, but Connors reads the name on the camera and realizes Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Then Connors goes to Peter's school to kill him. After a lot of fighting, he returns to the tunnel. Peter follows and sends Gwen to Oscorp to make an antidote. Meanwhile, Peter learns Connors plans to turn the entire city into monsters like him by spreading the serum through the air using the Ganali device. Peter goes toward Oscorp but is chased by police. At one point, the police catch him, and the captain sees Peter's face, realizes he is Spider-Man, and lets him go, but one officer shoots Peter in the leg. Connors arrives at Oscorp and takes the Ganali device from Gwen, who was hiding with it. Due to the gunshot wound, Peter can't swing properly. Then we see the father of the child Peter saved on the bridge sees the news. He works at a crane company, and with all his co-workers, sets up cranes aligned toward Oscorp, so Spider-Man can easily reach it. Then Spider-Man swings his way to Oscorp, and Gwen's father takes the antidote from her to give to Peter. Peter and Connors fight. Connors destroys Peter's web shooters. Then Gwen's father comes to save Peter and gives him the antidote. Peter tries to set the antidote in place of the serum. Meanwhile, Connors stabs the captain in the stomach. Peter barely manages to activate the antidote, and it spreads through the air, turning Connors back to normal. But the tower collapses, and Peter starts falling, but Connors saves him. Then Peter goes to the captain, and the captain tells him the city needs him to save people, but in doing so, he'll make many enemies. So the captain makes Peter promise to keep Gwen away from this, and Peter promises, and the captain dies. Then Peter watches the captain's funeral from a distance, but doesn't approach Gwen. Then Gwen comes to Peter's house to meet him, and Peter says he can't be near her. Gwen realizes her father made Peter promise to stay away, and she leaves. Then we see Peter going out again to protect the city, and this is where the movie ends. Hope you liked the explanation. If you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments which movie explanation you want next. Stay well everyone. See you again with a new movie explanation.